Hello, this is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 68 of this Let's Play Europa Universalis IV. This is the March of the Vikings, and we are Mordred. In the last couple of episodes, we have expanded our territory somewhat. We've beaten off Ajuran and a couple of the other miners in Indonesia area. So we actually have a pretty tight control on it. In fact, I think the only other power here now is Barat owning Lombok and also a part of this bit. Papua, of course. I was thinking that was Papua, I wasn't entirely sure. And then we also have a tiny bit of Ayutthaya down in Australia. Oh, and Shaiban apparently. But most of it is now under Mordred control. That's Chi. I thought that was literally just Q now. I was like, really? No, their name has expanded rather significantly. Oh, they took out Korea. Korea was up there, wasn't they? Pretty sure. So Chi has actually expanded. You know what? They're going to be really interesting in Victoria too. They're just going to be absolutely massive. Now, one of the things that was pointed out... Oh, it's reset all my things again. It's because I keep having to switch between versions for the multiplayer Venice game and then this one. So, apparently Australia is Sunni. I would quite like to make them flip if we can. Brunei and Australia. This is going to make you absolutely detest me. Opinion of us must be positive. I think we are raising relations with them, are we not? Yes. Are we still doing that? No. Well then, please do start doing that. Also, can we influence... yeah, apparently you can influence colonies. Now that's interesting. Certainly gives them a way of getting monarch points more quickly, which means that they can tech up or get ideas or spend it on development more quickly too. Yes, you can. Alright, so we're going to influence you. And I'm thinking we might want to send you a gift. Although influence also certainly helps. Conversion complete. We lost our royal marriage with Norway, which we probably do want to get again. I'm hoping that Norway sends it to us. And then one of the things I wanted to do in this episode is do a run down on all of the different faiths and things throughout the world and show exactly how far Norse has expanded at this point. Make sure we get a royal marriage with you. Royal marriage with Norway. Alright, we're at 0. So hopefully... Whoops. We can now tell you to flip religion? Yes, we can. Marvellous. Force religion, you are now Norse. And furthermore, placate rulers. Placate rulers. Oh, good grief. This is going to cost a lot. And do we want to go up in admin? Are we saving anything? Don't think we are. We're already coring everything. Which is great. So no, I think we are good to go. And this gives us enlightened despotism and bureaucratic despotism, which I don't think we want. I don't think I've ever used the despotism level, actually, for anything. The bureaucratic despotism is the Republican version. So this gives more autonomy, although it's the same as absolute monarchy. Like, between these two, it's just rubbish. Plus 10 manpower or better armies. Versus max promoted cultures with culture flipping everyone anyway, or unrest. Like absolute monarchy is just so much stronger, and now with absolutism in Mandate of Heaven, there is even less reason to ever take enlightened despotism. That is a government form they really need to have another look at, because right now it's kind of rubbish. We have war exhaustion. Oh, not a huge amount. Come on. I thought this only fired if you have like 10. Take the tax hit. It's fine. Military access from Italy. That would depend on who you're fighting. Australia, Germany, Venice, Byzantium, Mexico, Byzantine, Mexico. Nah. I don't really care about your wars. My corruption is growing. Why is my corruption growing? Because we are not rooting it out. Wow, that's not cheap. Okay, so there are a couple of things that we will want to do. One of them is fighting another war against Kosala so we can get rid of that little enclave which is in the middle of our territory right now. And that's probably about it. I mean, we've already taken Suez over here, which was one of our ambitions. We want to double check the culture here to see if there's anything else that we can give to the Alms Vikings. Doesn't look like it just yet. Alright, and then finally, religion. I was going to look over the religion. So most of Japan has already been converted and is still in the process of being converted, I believe. I mean, there is a fair amount still to do, but we have pretty good missionary strength, so I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. We've already completely converted Norse China, that little grouping over there, and basically all of Indonesia and the other Pacific islands have already been converted. There's a couple still over here which have not. We do own the southern tip of Australia, and in fact we really need to rename Brunei and Australia because that's just not right. Customize subject. This is Norse Australia. Australian. Marvellous. And there we go. It should now be, ta-da, Norse Australia. Excellent. Although I guess it should really be Mordred. Mordgardian Australia. Mordstralia. Mordstralia! I like it. Mordstralia. Mordstralia. Mordstralian. Mordstralian. Marvellous. Oh, that's so much better. That is a much better name. Why has that not changed? It should have. Oh, did I just change? What did I just change? I did change you. Mordstralia. Yeah, it just hasn't updated. Okay, maybe it just needs some time to pass, like a month or something. Made Mordstralia, there we go. And we are getting more conversions in celebration of the establishment of Mordstralia. That's happening, and we probably have a couple of cultures that need converting. Yes, we do. 1. It costs 1. Yeah, that's brilliant. Whoops. I have no idea if these are actually going to be done by the end of the game. Is there a way we can tell? Right, the next thing that we need to do is have a look at the cultures and see precisely how far those have spread. Some of them are in fact here. So let's have a click on you and see when you finish. 1807, yes you will. Okay, good. So that will finish in time, just. So let's get back to the religion. So we are now converting Mordstralia. That is in the works. We have a little bit of conversion over in India to do, not very much. Most of our African holdings are already done. A couple still up here, but that's not really going to take very long, I don't think. And then we also have Scandinavia and a small piece of Russia. Volga Bulgaria is still Norse and growing. They've finally started spreading into this bit. I think they will take this by the end of the game, which means Volga Bulgaria is going to be a very northern, very inhospitable chunk of land. But I think in Victoria it's actually going to be quite valuable because there's a lot of timber up there. And there tends to be a timber shortage in Victoria too, as I may have mentioned during the Army of the State game. Okay, so otherwise, most of Europe is Catholic, although there is definitely a big divide between Catholicism and Orthodox. So Orthodox have definitely done pretty well for themselves. Sunni and Shia, another split there, with most of the Sunnis being in Africa and the Shia being in Arabia and Persia, which is interesting. There's a little bit of Shia out here, though we are just flipping a whole bunch. And then also some Shia elsewhere. Tengri have survived in the shape of... Nope, they haven't. That is not actually Tengri. Confucian from all the Chinese stuff. Theravada and Mahayana. Cool. Hindu have done really well, actually. I mean, they've lost a bit of territory thanks to our conquests in India, but the Batids are Hindu, and they've done actually really quite exceptionally well. Fetishists still in Africa, because we haven't done very much in Africa. And then North America is a real mixture. So we have Confucian over on the west coast, and also Sunni in California, then going through into New Mexico, Arizona, I think. I think that's that kind of area. Utah. And then Orthodoxy in Mexico and Texas. Orthodox Texas. Lovely. You know what? I think the Texans would actually quite appreciate Orthodox churches, because they usually have like great gold embossed spires. I kind of feel like that kind of look would be welcome in Texas. Why am I saying this? I have no idea why I'm saying this. It just feels like a Texan thing. Great big churches of gold. Just sounds like a Texan thing to me. Okay, so then we have Catholicism up in Canada. A huge chunk on the east coast of the USA and east coast Maritimes of Canada, which is Norse, which is awesome. And then a tiny little Orthodox enclave and a tiny, tiny bit of Catholicism there, but not very much. And then Catholics down in that part of Mexico, going down into Central America, which is actually Norse. Why is that? Oh, Bergslagen. Right. That is actually Bergslagen now. Huh. Because they got kicked out of Sweden. And then also jutting up against Danish Columbia. Did Denmark survive? Denmark did actually survive, despite being next to a really, really strong Italy. In fact, I would say that Italy, of all of the great powers, have probably done the worst. Obviously, with the exception of Andalusia for being, or Aquitaine, for having been completely wiped out, and Andalusia for that matter. Portugal's become resurgent. Unless Andalusia formed one of these, which is possible. I don't think it's Mauritania. Andalusia might have formed Portugal. But yeah, Aquitaine's completely gone. Genoa's still alive, which is pretty impressive. Ooh, we're still doing religion. We'll do the nation soon. Then a tiny, tiny bit of Norse down here in the south. Who is that? That is Norway. Apparently Norway wanted their little chunk of Argentina. Fair enough. Fair enough. And then Brazil was Catholic. So I think Andalusia and Aquitaine were down here, and that's where they lost their territories. Alright, then let's have a look at the cultures. This is the other important one. So Norse is very much dominant in Scandinavia and northern Russia, though we do still have Mordvin. We have Norse coming in through the top here, so Volga Bulgaria is Norse. We do have Russian, which has appeared, and Mordvin. Greek has done extremely well, and it looks like the Byzantines have actually been culture converting stuff. Polish over here, Avar, so that's the Hungarians. Lombard, the Italians have moved in northwestern Germany, apparently. Francian, Occitan, German still very much prevalent in Spain. And then Anglo-Saxon has survived. There is no English. English never appeared. It's all Anglo-Saxon. That is hilarious. So Scottish, a bit of Norse here and there, Anglo-Saxon, Welsh. Welsh appeared, but English did not. Ha! And then Irish, and also some more Norse there. Why has that been divided up? I think this is just conquests by Germany. And Australia has done pretty well there. Although Denmark still has their one province in Glamorganshire. Navarrese Company, remember they started out with like that area of territory. They've taken out Aquitaine completely and just decided to move on in. So I would say the Navarrese have done the best in the European game. The Italians have lost some territory to Australia, and they've not wiped out Denmark, as I'd kind of expected them to. Australia hasn't done very much. Germany was actually wiped out of Europe. Oh no, they still have a couple of tiny little holdouts. But they are predominantly British Isles nation now. Poland, Lithuania. In my test games, Poland would own everything that Poland and Lithuania have here, and in fact they would usually push even further east. So they've done less well than I had expected. Lithuania massively outperforming Poland. Poland's usually like the supreme dog in this area until they kind of jut up against the Byzantines. But even then they can more than hold their own. Norway has won the fight for Scandinavia. Finland's held out. Not surprisingly, Finland is extremely tough to fight in battles, and Denmark's still there. And the main man, Gotland, currently occupied by rebels. Oh no, are those noble rebels? No, that's not going to flip you from a republic, is it? It might do. Well, that would be disappointing. Genoa, are you still a merchant republic? You are. Venice, are you still a theocracy? You are. Cyprus is Yom's Vikings. Of course, we have a little bit of Sicily that's appeared. Amalfi doesn't seem to have lived. Unless they formed Sicily. Except they're an enlightened despotism, so that's unlikely. Italy has a little bit of Africa, not a huge amount. Ecumenical Patriarch has survived Congo. I mean, I'm going to be doing another whole overview of this when we've finished the actual game in 15 years. But I was requested to have an overview in the comments, so I thought, you know what, I will. It's high time we did. We've changed the culture of a province. Rebels, go away. Military access, yeah, that's a big fight. And then we have a new idea group. I have no idea what idea we're going to get. We can't get military, we are locked out on that. So it would have to be one of the others. Probably innovative. Possibly maritime. Or maybe we just won't get the last idea group because we are really behind in technology. Because of all the coring and because of all the culture flipping we've had to do. Like, usually we would be up there with diplomatic, it would just be admin that was struggling. But not here. Right, in the last game we had the massive war, didn't we? Which is why we are out of manpower. So mostly at the moment it's just our armies recovering. So one thing I should be keeping an eye on are the rebels. Haven't really done that very much. Manpower increases by 4.2 thousand a month. Gaining some cores, excellent. Taraka, which I think is North Africa. Nope, they're at 90%. Right, Mordstralia is at full relations. I think we're going to maintain the diplomat there, though. Maybe take him away from some... Oh no, we have a spare. That's fine. So we just need to try and keep Mordstralia positive. I'll send you a gift. Get to the maximum 25. There we go. Use that well. Okay, they are now positive with us at least, although their liberty desire remains rather high. Money-wise, or conversion-wise. Don't know why I said money there. Right, Krasala, are you in a coalition against me? Do we have a truce? We do not have a truce. You are guaranteed by Bharat, though. Right, who are you allied with? Shun, Baluchistan, Kamarupa. Ayutthaya is a fairly large one. I think we're going to wait until our armies are positive again, and then we'll go after that one province of Kassala. Actually, because we're so close to the end of the game, maybe we do need to take it. Diplomatic reputation, that helps. Cultures are still being converted. Marvellous. In fact, we do have a little bit of power that we can spend. Not a huge amount, though. Most of them are underway. Especially if we want this converted and culture shifted, which I don't think we're going to manage. Not in that amount of time. I mean, if we declared war on them, that would strip us of our alliance with Bharat. Who else are we allied with? Baluchistan. Baluchistan's tiny. And you are guaranteed by the Nazarides, who are currently at war. Would you join a fight against me? Yeah, we need to wait 30 days anyway. You are currently taking attrition. Asmat. I was not watching that. That was a mistake. Transports, where are you? Transports. You are quite a long way away. Let's move you kind of more central. Wait, where are the transports? Oh, you're there. Right. Let's move you here. Are you the battle fleet by any chance? You are. Let's get rid of the galleys, because frankly we don't need them. And then we'll have you park up and repair. And you can also get some more ships once you have laid up. And also, wow. Our war fleets took some serious beatings in that war. Oh, his name is not Hrolfr. It's obviously Mordred. Jeez. Get it right. Oh, speaking of which, I now have a Patreon, which means I need to start renaming stuff. I think it's going to be the armies I'm going to rename. So I need a list of names. Gimme, gimme, gimme. And let's unlock you. Put you over there. And here. There it is. Alright, big army. The 18th army will henceforth be known as Alpha Brain. In no particular order. The second army shall henceforth be known as Posnik. And then finally, last but not least, we have Fenris Wolf. Which is not a capital W. Okay, and there we go. 3 armies. The Alpha Brain, the Posnik, and the Fenris Wolf. Excellent. Right, let me bring up my recording preview again so I can check that everything is actually working. So you guys are still taking attrition. Is there anywhere that I can stand around here where attrition will not be such an issue? Short answer? No. Alright, we'll just have to split you in half. Sorry. And then you guys jump on the boat. And we'll send you over here. Ah, it's actually a fort. Brilliant. Treasure fleet, excellent. Rely more on trade. Conquer Dundar. Dundar doesn't happen to be this one, does it? No. Not really interested then. Fine. And our manpower needs to recover. Yeah, it does. But that's not going to happen before the end of the game. Ah, another revolt over here. Well, that's easy enough to deal with. Should do that. Another conversion successful. Excellent. Excellent. Let's continue on this. In fact, I should really start focusing on the Japanese territories, because I really want to make sure that the Japan is Norse. I think that we're going to be playing in I'm still not 100%. It's either going to be Japan or we're going to continue in India. Both of them would be really interesting games. I kind of suspect that India would be easier because the population here is phenomenal, but you also have a lot more bigger enemies around us. While Japan, you can be more isolationist and you can play kind of the island game. I have played as both in the past. I mean, Japan, your goal is obviously just going to be wiping Qi off the map and taking over all of that territory. Likewise with China, actually. I mean, this small China could be interesting, although I suspect that would be a very high infamy game. Much like the army with a state with Germany. No, I don't know. I might do a poll, so we'll need to decide basically at the end of the game. Once we've done the conversion and I've shifted population centers around, I'll do a poll and then see what the public at large thinks. And we are once again making money. Huzzah. Right, that's the first of the rebel scum dead. I don't think we're going to need both of them here. You can stay here and retake that territory. And we have some rebels down in Australia. Mordstralia. That's such a great name. Where is my... Ah, there. Just in the nick of time. Jump on the boats and send you over to Mordstralia. Oh, and you're in a fort. Marvellous. Makes life much easier for me. And in fact, I think we might be able to burn down relations. No, we can't. Still not quite. Okay. Navy should arrive soon. There it is. Dead in one. Didn't even notice the fight. March over here. In fact, we'll sail over here. Not with the army. We'll let them march. I think they might actually beat... Ah. Killed that. And we'll leave the transports there. It's fine. Gain a stability for free. That brings us up to level 3. And also more loyalty for the clergy. Lovely jubbly. Right. Move up there and then that's that done. 35. Short. And actually rebels are basically dealt with. We have very, very few rebels. Let's have a look at the autonomy. That's something I'm going to need to get used to doing in Mandate of Heaven because working with autonomy in that way increases your absolutism. Oh wait, no, I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to start sending you to the Japanese territories and make sure that we get those converted as soon as possible. And also, are there any more cultures that we can be converting? I suspect so. And then there were 2. I mean, we could fight another war. Baluchistan is not very big. Kosala is hurting. Oh, except you're in the Nazarides. Well, now we have the diplomat available. I was kind of hoping the Nazarides would say no to joining. What about if we declared on Kosala? Would Barat actually join? They would. It's unfortunate. Who else are you allied to? Shun. Where is Shun? They've been shunned. Sorry, not sorry. Where is Shun? No, not my history. That. Shun. Oh, you're up there. Hello. Mayal, Jin, Boreata, and Kosala. So if I declared war on you, called Barat in, and then co-belligerized Kosala, would that work? Because I'm calling in Barat, so they would be forced to choose. I think they would get the call to arms from Kosala first. I don't really need to co-belligerize them. Do it. And then go and attack that. Yeah. Okay. So what are we actually fighting here? Kosala, Shun, Tartary. Oh, Shun's actually a lot bigger than I expected. Jin. Oh, a Miao. Okay, so we're going to be fighting in Mordgardian South China. Which means that I will need to shift some forces over there, but our forts here I think are all level 8. Right? 8, 8, 8. 8, we'll have fun getting through those. Although... No, you can get through... You can siege that, but you can't get through. No, our borders are actually pretty well protected. So they have to get through the level 8s to get into this interior area. They can siege that province down, they can siege that province down, but that's not a huge loss. Barat's in the fight, so they can fight against the Kosala forces. And then I just need to send in my own, which I can get from here. And we'll send you guys over to China, as well as any other troops that I can find from wherever. Meanwhile, you are marching up to there to go and take that. I do think that we're going to need some more generals. So let's roll up some of those. Good enough. And with that, I think I'm actually going to leave this episode. So thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying the series, then please do hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, then do consider subscribing. And if you have any tips or advice for me, then let me know in the comments. And likewise, I mentioned it earlier, but I do now have a Patreon. I don't get as much money from YouTube advertising anymore, thanks to a whole bunch of advertisers pulling out. So I'm having to look for alternative revenue streams, of which Patreon seems to be a really good one. It has some pretty nice rewards there, so I'd really appreciate it if you would check that out. And if you find that you are able, then please do offer your support there. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.